Okay, welcome everybody. This here is Rrezon. He went from just over 200K in a month to 650,000 in a month in just under 2 months of joining the consulting program. It is absolute insanity, and he's going to walk you through today kind of how he got to the point he is right now. What were the key kind of levers he pulled on to be able to scale, the problems he faced along the way, and just overall, hopefully you guys could take something from it to scale yourselves. So, Rrezon. Welcome. Happy to have you here. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
So let's start with going over your background a bit. Kind of where are you at? How did you even get into ecom, and kind of how did you even get to the point where you were able to even qualify to join the program?
Yeah, so basically, I started off about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, something like this. It went pretty well 1 year, yeah, 1 year into the journey, and then kind of did like 200, 300K a month. But since then, moved to TikTok and tried a lot of different stuff. And then I noticed like I had a kind of decline every time, made the money, went broke again multiple times. And then, yeah, I went completely to Facebook again and started off there. So I think 1 year ago, I started off with Facebook and tried to focus again on Facebook, going on all in one product stores, and really didn't know in which kind of direction to go in, and needed some help. Then I found one product that did pretty well and scaled it up to 100, 200K a month. And again, same thing, went to zero again. So I knew I had to do something long term, went into the more branded road and came across you on Twitter, I think. Yeah, Twitter and YouTube. So after seeing the kind of value you were putting out, it was pretty clear that I had to. I just wanted to get into some kind of call with you, and then noticed you had the program. Once I had the call with Thomas, yeah, at that point I was doing around 200K a month and already dipped into the creative strategy and testing concepts and stuff like this. But once I got into your program, I think one big thing that helped me a lot was like the kind of reset of expectations I got. Once you told us everything about concepts and stuff like this, it really opened my kind of my eyes, what's possible. And that, I think that was a pretty big lever. Then together with the one-on-ones we had and the consulting calls and just being able to ask all the questions, I think it was pretty clear what to do, because that's the biggest problem people often have in ecom, not knowing where exactly to start and what priorities to take. So with you giving this whole kind of roadmap and answering questions all the time, it made it really easy and knowing what to execute on. So that's why I think that's was a big part why I went that fast and like almost tripled or even tripled my revenue.
Yeah,
And
it's
yeah,
so
man.
fast. Like, yeah, you said you tripled it within, the first month of joining. I put under 2 months because it sounds a little bit more realistic to people, but it was pretty much in the first 4 weeks that you tripled your revenue, which is
Exactly.
wild. And so you talked a bit about your sales would go up, then they would crash, would go up and crash. And I've been there. I think many people listening have been there too. It's kind of just this drop shipping hamster wheel, if you will, until you kind of figure out how to build a real business, and that's kind of the transition you had to make.
Yeah.
So would you say that that was the key problem you were facing? Because your revenue was kind of all over the place, and now it's scaled and been more consistent. And so, what do you think the main problems were that you had to solve to fix that?
I think exactly that, like having the creative strategy in place, because that's the one thing that no one talks about. Like, and everyone just talks about offer and all this stuff. Offers, also you also help with that, but I think creative strategy and knowing how to replicate this and how to scale it even further, I think that's the biggest value.
Right. So it's kind of just dialing in and just overall just developing the skill further of creative strategy, just to understand
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
do and why, versus just testing
Exactly.
random shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And so then why, I mean, out of all the different programs out there, because there's lots, and you know the amount of gurus that are out there, and I'm slowly becoming a guru myself now on YouTube. But why did you decide to join my consulting and will work with me versus somebody else?
Yeah, because you were the only one who was putting out the content at this kind of level. Everyone is just yeah, did a bit of revenue and then talked about the generic shit like everyone else. but you went really with the videos and you just put out the value.
I do my best.
I appreciate it. And that's, I think, one big reason, just like you stood out of everyone.
Good. Oh, well, it's good to hear then, because I mean, something I'm doing is working then. So I'm glad I was able to bring you in, and now you're able to actually take action on it. I find with um, you were a big one, and also just most of the best clients that get the best results that I've worked with. They've often implemented or tried to implement lots of the YouTube videos before they even try joining, right? Because they see it, they understand, they're like, okay, this is so there's something here. They implement it, it works, they scale a bit, then they join, it kind of just takes off. But it's also because they were putting in the work before they even ended up joining. They just wanted the extra help along the way.
Exactly, yes.
So, other than creative strategy, now that's being the big one, was there anything else that stood out to you inside the program or the consulting that you think really played a big part? You can maybe touch on, you mentioned the one-on-ones a bit, consulting calls. What was it about those that you think, really made the difference?
It's just that, you really listen and you take your time to properly answer the questions. It's not just get it out the way and one to two sentences, but really like in-depth explanations on and things that you can actually take like action on.
Right, yeah. That's good to hear. I mean, we wanted to structure it that way for a reason because we know everyone, at least, at your business level, everyone who's coming to this program is doing over 1 million a year, right? And for them to scale up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 million a year, they want that one-on-one time. They need someone who's actually understanding their business, on a weekly, bi-weekly basis and have multiple touch points versus just those group consulting calls or just, a broad one-on-one where it's just, Q&A. So that's why we want to structure it that way, which is, I'm glad to see is working out because that was the whole point. If I can't understand the business myself, then how am I supposed to tell you what to do to grow it versus just giving you general Q&A? So that's cool to hear. How I'm curious then, because how old are you?
I'm, bro, sometimes I have to think because I forget. I mean, no, 23.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm 23 as well. And so, I mean,
Oh,
going from
nice.
200K a month to over, 600K a month so quickly. Obviously, this scale is still kind of new to you and you're just doing this revenue now, but how would you say that's changed your personal life, if anyway?
The thing is, I went broke so many times. I still feel really, in the beginning, back then when I was like, how old was I? 19, 20, and I was making like good money. You feel like, yeah, I'm the boss, I made it. But no, even making like netting 100, 150K a month, it's I still feel I haven't reached anything, or like I'm still only at 1% of my goal. So, but it gave me a lot of like, it's the first time you really get, like, how can I say it's relief,
Yeah.
Like just feeling like, because all the time you're feeling so much pressure of being broke and having not even enough money to run ads. And now you finally have this kind of relief and you can now push even harder without feeling like you're suffering and almost surviving.
Yeah, it's like you have a bit of a safety net now, right? It's like
Yeah.
you kind of have a bit more confidence behind you because you know that if things did go to shit, okay, you don't have to worry about going to get a job to run more ads or
Yeah,
whatever.
I will just build it again.
Yeah, yeah, that's always the struggle too when first starting, eh? Because it's like you really gotta like learn everything. It's the hardest part is just getting to your first like 30K a month-ish, right? And then it's like you go up, then you go down, you go up, you go down. But once you're able to actually crack the consistency, it's like you have enough confidence is the big one, knowing that you have the skills to be able to do it again and again. But then also you have some sort of safety net and cash flow where it's like, okay, we're safe. Now, as long as you're not dumb about it,
Yeah.
the consulting program, so you won't be, and you're not
Yeah.
going to go blow all your money and have a safety fund and things like this. But so
Uh,
you'll be good. But that's awesome though. So you finally feel like you have some security a bit.
yeah, exactly. I think the biggest thing is knowing that you are just able to make it more than 2 months. Just making constant revenue more than 2 months, knowing that you can just make it scale it for every product. That's the biggest, I think, skill that you have, and that makes you feel more confident.
Yeah, 100%. And it's also something I try to hammer into everyone who joins. It's like everyone's starting like you're looking day by day performance, week by week. And I'm like, hey, you gotta zoom out. Like let's look month by month, year by year. Like let's build a real business here. It's not just a quick, quick fix, etc. But that's awesome. And
Exactly.
so last question I got for you today is where do you think you'd be at if you didn't join this consulting and you didn't work with me?
Probably I would still scale a little bit, I think, just because of volume. But I don't think, no, I'm pretty sure that I can bring it even to 1 million, even more than that. And I think what I would probably like be a little higher than that, probably 250 to 300, but it break down again pretty fast. But knowing what I have to do now, I think I can easily reach the 1 million a month.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
think
just about like putting in the work.
yeah, no, that's awesome. And I agree. I mean, people like you, especially like you've already been able to get to 200K-ish a month, right? It's not like you would absolutely need me or you're going to fail for the rest of your life in ecom. Like sooner or later, you're going to figure it out and scale. You've been able to get to your point. You're
Yeah,
smart.
but you
You know
save
what
so
you
much
do.
time, and that's the thing that's
Right.
so valuable. You can go ahead and like figure it out yourself how to do all this shit, but it will take you maybe 1 year more or 2 years.
Yeah. And then that's exactly the thing, right? You were just looking for that security and be able to scale, sooner rather than later. And
Yeah,
although it's a big investment, you made the choice to do it. Obviously, it paid off very quickly.
exactly. Within
Sweet.
1 day.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Sweet. Well, thank you again for doing this, sir. And we'll get back to helping you get to a mil a month.
Thanks, I really appreciate it.